Hi Libra, welcome to your May reading. Ooh, right away there. Ooh, okay, good. First card out. We need to focus, Libra. We need to focus on you. You need to take some deep breaths and realize that even though it is fixed Earth season, you can get some air. As of May 3rd, Mercury moves into Gemini and you feel a little better. You're communicating. As of the 8th, Venus moves into Gemini and you're thinking to yourself, okay, everybody else is now remembering how to communicate. As of the 20th, the Sun moves into Gemini and you think, there's the air I've been needing in my lungs. But then on the 23rd, Saturn goes retrograde and all of a sudden those scales come back out. How much am I willing to give and how much do I want to get? This is something that requires perspective. You need a little bit of distance from people when you're trying to figure out how much, when you're weighing things. Maybe this is part of that distance that people find so appealing about you. You need a little perspective and a little distance to be able to weigh things properly. I get it. But that can seem like emotionally unavailable. And that attracts the wrong people. Anyone who's attracted to you because they think you're emotionally unavailable is probably emotionally unavailable themselves, and therefore will end up hurting you. It's only the people that realize that your cool exterior is never you trying to be cool. It's you trying not to hurt people. Those are the only people that really get you. You're trying not to hurt a lot of people, and you're hurting yourself in the process. There's too many games being played. A lot of those you feel like are personal jokes on you. And the slowness of anything in the romance department makes you feel like nothing will ever change, but it will. Right now, you're just needing to prove yourself as a mature, reliable person. And it's taking a lot for you to get all your ducks in a row, but you can and you will, and you are, and it'll be fine. But this having to prove yourself, it's really irritating. Makes you want to fight with people. You need a little break, and everyone else wants to be so serious, and it can just be a drag, you know? So, on the 13th, Jupiter moves into Pisces, and you feel like any business you're a part of starts to grow quite a lot. You're feeling very bolstered by this. You feel your confidence rising. You feel this Nine of Pentacles energy really heavy. Like, hey, business is going well. I can handle all this. Where a couple weeks before, you're like really bemoaning your fate that you have to prove yourself. By the 3rd week of May, you're like, I can totally prove myself. I know what I'm doing. After the 26th at the lunar eclipse, you won't be able to communicate very well. And on the 29th, Mercury will go retrograde. So anyone you want to make any advances towards, I would do it before the lunar eclipse. And anyone who makes advances towards you after that is not to be trusted. You may find it very hard to communicate about anything. So it's better to then spend that time at the end of May learning something new, teaching yourself a new skill, something that you absolutely know would help you with what you do now. In fact, if you were to learn something new now, even if it means you have to start from the very beginning, the seeds that you'll plant will help you for years and years to come. It can change your whole life. In fact, there are a few moments between the 26th and the end of May that can really change your life. A few key decisions made towards bettering yourself, and also forgetting an old dream and replacing it with a new one. Whether this is about a person, a relationship, a job, it doesn't matter. But it's huge. You can broaden your vision so much. You can do so much more than what you have been taught or what you did at one time, and then you thought, okay, these are the amount of cups, and then I'm just going to stick to these, and that's how I know how much I can ever do. And the Fool says, no. No, you can do so much more. And your astrology says you have to do so much more. And it all starts with you opening up what you think is possible for you. That's not something you have to communicate to anybody else. These are all deeply personal conversations. Only you can speak to you about this without having to rationalize it and somehow prove it to yourself. You know what you need and what you want. You know how much you're willing to give. You know what's better and more important than money. You know what doesn't work. It's just about compiling it all and then communicating it, but not yet, not in May. In May, you're just compiling. In June, we'll talk. Air season things coming up. Love you. Let's look at these cards. Hi Libra, welcome to your May reading. So, Venus is moving into Gemini, and that is the perfect time for your reading to come out because the air that you need, it's not just this fixed earth season. It's more than that. For a lot of you, the 10 of Swords is either a recent death in the family or someone very close. So Libra is all tied up with these really deep, dare I say, icky emotions. Something has taken you to the depths. And as always, your scales will balance out. So if you're in that phase right now, if you're here right now, it's okay. You're going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. I know you know that. But if you're wondering how long it'll take these scales to balance out again, know that by the end of May, you will feel better. Your focus will shift. Not that the pain goes away, but your focus will shift. The pain is going to take the time it's going to take, like poison leaving the body. But in the meantime, as May progresses, in the third week of May, your focus will shift. 9 of Pentacles, we're money-minded, we're thinking about the future. You're also thinking about a life on your own. Either that has something to do with the death, or it's the death of a relationship, the death of an era. Something is over. And now you've got to recreate yourself. You've got to jump from here to here. And there's no way to circumnavigate this. You got to go through it. And you are, and you will. And God willing, everything will be fine. The 9 of Pentacles is you reimagining yourself. Who am I now outside of this loss? Okay, now those of you who are like, wait a minute, I haven't experienced any kind of loss, you're scaring me. Okay, well, it doesn't have to be a physical loss. For a lot of you, it's like I said, it's the end of an era. Something that you love to do, always wanted to do, you're doing it, you're loving it. And then over the past 6 months or so, you've started to just not. And you need something different, you want something different, you find yourself drifting towards something different without meaning to. And however you get there. By the third week of May, you're thinking about yourself as a single entity and how you are going to move in the world and what you need to move in the world. This is going to bring you to some very important decisions about starting at the ground level in perhaps another profession, in some sort of education, starting a small business, whatever it is that the 9 of Pentacles imagines. whatever you imagine yourself as being is what then you have to start working on and planting those seeds. And it just makes sense that the more ambitious the thing is that you're thinking to set you up long term, the further down the ladder you would have to start. I get it. But you've got to get it. And you've got to put your sort of pseudo sense of pride aside. This has nothing to do with pride. There is no connection between gaining a new skill, taking a new job, getting a different education, a new education, just an education in general. There is no connection between that and loss of pride. Starting from scratch is not a crime, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. And if you do so very quickly, Seven of Pentacles, the Pentacles, the coins prove it to you that you did the right thing. So don't let you stand in the way of your success now. And that's exactly what the Fool wants to say to you as well. Sometimes the biggest leap we can make, sometimes the walk off that cliff really is, checking our own pride, checking our own sense of superiority, entitlement. Now, the reason it's difficult for you is because this Four of Cups is strong. There is a huge part of you that is forlorn for what has passed. And it ties in somehow to a very bad habit, be it nostalgia or the drinking that happens because of the nostalgia or the drug use, whatever it is. I'm not here to judge you. Whatever you're doing, it's some form of self-medicating, and it's taking away from you. It's actually not doing it. It's not doing you any good. In fact, it's one of the things the Fool wants you to walk away from. This is all tied together, of course. And even if you do manage to walk off this cliff for your greater good, this bad habit will pull you back. That's why it's there. That's why it needs to be looked at. That's why you need to be cognizant of it. It's very important for you to recognize and realize what your toxic pattern is when it comes to improving yourself, moving forward, letting go of a toxic partner, a toxic past, or a toxic friendship, without somehow blaming yourself for not having known, not having done better, all the things. Okay? Good. All right, in the extended, we're going to talk a lot about Saturn retrograde. We'll talk about Jupiter in Pisces, and we'll go through the cards and see how each of the signs reacts to you and what your dynamic is like in May, but also in June. Okay? I love you, love you, love you. That extended is on Vimeo. You can also subscribe to the Libra tier on Patreon. The first part of this video was out on the 23rd, 24th, I think, of April. The second part will be there as well, early. And then the extended. So the Patreon option is there, the Vimeo option is there, and as always, the instant link is for the PayPal option. Aside from that, if you're interested in a personal reading, there is a Cameo link below. If you're interested in these gorgeous rings, there's a Revolution Rings link below. And last but not least, if you'd like to hang out with the rest of the Rev Fam and have a look at the daily astrological transits and how they affect your sun, moon, and rising, come on over to Instagram and join the fam at the Quietest Revolution. Love you, love you, love you. I'll see you on the extended.